Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my list of the best JRPGs released in 2022. Now, I won't be including any ports like Persona 5 Royal for example. Remasters and remakes are fine, but I didn't get to play some of them like Crisis Core for example or Tactics Ogre, but you know, they can be used as honorable mentions. And with that clarified, let's begin! Number 10. Live Alive. Live Alive is a turn-based RPG originally released on the Super Famicom in 1994, so it took Square almost 20 years to bring it overseas, but now in the form of a remake, and one with that gorgeous HD 2D graphic style. As of the making of this video, this remake is still exclusive to the Switch. You get to play through 7 chapters, each with their own protagonist, story and characters. Also, each one takes place in a different era of the world, from the prehistoric times all the way to the distant future. Some chapters are more gameplay based, while others focus more on the narrative. They have the same type of combat based on grids, however each chapter has some tweaks in the battle and gameplay mechanics that make them stand out. Overall, it's such a unique game. I'm kinda resentful it stayed in Japan for so long, but happy at the same time to have finally got it, if at least on the Switch. This is one of the best remakes I've seen in a while. Number 9. Atelier Sophie 2. Rarely do Atelier games get direct sequels with the same main character, but since the success of Risa, that obviously changed. Sophie was an interesting choice, but it's no surprise considering the first one is very popular in Japan. So yes, you need to play that first to understand this one. Graphically speaking though, the difference is quite notorious as this sequel looks just as beautiful and modern as Risa. However, the story takes a twisty turn. Sophie and Plakta are separated upon getting pulled into a black void. Sophie wakes up alone in a new city, so her goal will be to expand her alchemy journey as she searches for Plakta. I'll admit that's an interesting plot. All gameplay mechanics are a mere evolution of the previous game, so you'll still go around taking quests, gathering items, exploring both the city and its surrounding landscapes, and of course synthesizing stuff in a system that's mostly easy to understand. Combat is still played in turns in the traditional style, unlike the one in Risa, which involves a real-time flux, once again with your 3 active members and the other 3 in support. Great sequel here, one of the best JRPGs of 2022. Number 8. Relayer. Relayer takes inspiration from the Super Robot Wars series. It's a grid-based strategy RPG where you control characters in the giant mechs fighting in space. In fact, the majority of the maps will take place literally amongst the stars. It's awesome for a while, but I admit it can feel repetitive at times. The story puts you in the shoes of Terra, an amnesiac girl searching for her sister Luna who seems to have turned to the evil side. Her journey has her joining a group of special forces as she is a star children herself, warriors with the abilities to control the mechs to fight alien threats. The majority of the game will revolve around your base in a menu system and the battle maps themselves. Characters have their jobs and their different equipment settings which will greatly influence the flow of combat. The mission design leaves room for desirable creativity to be honest, but the battle system itself is very good. You move around on grids and can either approach your enemies to start a melee attack or do it from a safe distance. These badass animations will play out once you come into contact. This is a surprisingly solid strategy RPG that gets better the more you advance. Definitely one of the best of 2022. Number 7. Soul Hackers 2. This is an indirect sequel to a game that came out in the Sega Saturn exclusive to Japan. The world much later got its 3DS remaster. Story-wise, it's barely connected to it, so it's safe to say this is a standalone release. You control Ringo, a humanized artificial intelligence, alongside Fig, another AI. She must lead a trio of devil summoners to fight against demons, all in order to stop a powerful maniac from orchestrating an apocalypse. For an SMT game, the graphics are surprisingly colorful, but very alluring at the same time. Still though, it has strong character development. Matter of fact is that it focuses on that, as the 3 devil summoners have a soul matrix, virtual mazes the protagonists must traverse to complete their bonds and unlock their true potential. This affects the ending you'll get. Unlike its predecessor, it's no longer a first-person dungeon crawler. You got full 3D control of Ringo in their environments, areas, and dungeons with puzzles galore. Finally, combat is turn-based. Characters still equip demons and can exploit enemy weaknesses. The more you do that, the higher the stack at the end of your turn to cast an all-out attack by your demons. This is an excellent game and a great entry for beginners into Shin Megami Tensei. Number 6. The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. The best remaster of this year is obviously Trails from Zero. It was released only in Japan on PC and PSP back then, even getting a cool port on the Vita we never got. After a few years it got the PS4 and Switch treatment and we all thought we'd never get that version. Well, we did this year, and finally the anti-emulation people could play it. You control Lloyd, a detective that joins a Black Ops group with other talented police officers. Their job will be to uncover the political wreck of the city of Crossbell, going through mafias and evil organizations alike. Despite taking place mostly in the city, it's still a traditional RPG, going from town to town with an overworld in between. Visible encounters lead to a turn-based combat based on grids. Characters can move around, use attacks, magic, items, and crafts, which are their own unique skills, including combination attacks between two of them. You can also perform all-out attacks, especially during a successful ambush. It's a wonderful game with a killer story and strong character development, but it is necessary to play the Trails in the Sky trilogy first, in my opinion. Hopefully that trilogy will get remastered too one day. Number 5. Chrono Cross The Radical Dreamers Edition. Released on Switch, PS4 and Steam, this is an HD remaster of the original PS1 masterpiece. Included is Radical Dreamers, a text adventure developed mostly by director and writer Masato Kato. In fact, Chrono Cross is pretty much what evolved from this little game, so it was a nice addition to understand its background. Visuals have been upgraded and refined gorgeously, just like the character portraits. Unfortunately, the CGI cutscenes remained intact in their low resolution. Gameplay was adorned with awesome features, such as turning encounters off and fast forward for pretty much everything. This is my favorite game of all time and therefore it should be number 1 here, but I can't rank it higher because it's simply a remaster, and one with a text adventure included that's honestly not that great. And if we count its frame rate issues unfixed by a AAA company like Square Enix, it just disappoints. So yeah, not the best remaster ever, but damn, it still looks absolutely beautiful. Definitely one of the best releases this year. Number 4. The DioField Chronicle. This real-time strategy RPG was a very unexpected surprise. Developed by Landon and Square Enix, the game follows a group of mercenaries caught up in a war led by an invasive empire to the DioField island. It's got a really strong and mature story with some serious dark plot twists all around. You control a party of 4 active fighters per mission, but each of them can bring along an ally. You can use a couple of their skills if you're in a bind, and later you'll be able to switch to them mid-battle. Maps are designed so the characters act based on the directions you give them, but like in any real-time strategy game, you can pause combat to bring up the menu. This is done to give them a new order, select an attack, skill, heal, or even summon a giant creature to do massive damage to your enemies or heal the entire party. This is such an addictive game. I just wish it could have exploited its true potential a little bit more, especially with the ending. Almost a masterpiece, but strongly recommended. Number 3. Star Ocean: The Divine Force. I'm glad to say that this game far surpassed its troublesome predecessor, the one everyone thought had killed the series for good. Thankfully, Tri-Ace and Square Enix got back together to deliver a fantastic new title. Just like in Star Ocean 2, we meet again a dual protagonist feature. Most events and gameplay will be identical, but several differences will be there depending on who you choose. Regardless, you can control any character you want during battle and exploration. The two are intertwined here as areas are expanded to let the player roam free a lot, but there is no screen separating the battles. With the ability of Duma, an artificial intelligence that joins the party, you can float around or dive into your enemies to ambush them. It also serves the important purpose of blindsiding them, something crucial to win the battles. Now, the game did have some resolution and frame rate issues, which once again, I believe it's unacceptable coming from a big studio like Square Enix. Fortunately, none of these issues hindered my progress, and I still had a blast playing this amazing RPG. Number 2. Triangle Strategy. This long-anticipated tactical beauty did not disappoint one bit. First an exclusive to the Switch, now on PC as well, developed by Square Enix and Art Dink. It's one of those games with multiple routes and endings depending on your decisions. Most of these decisions come from using the Scales of Conviction, a mechanic in which your 8 main characters will decide the next course of action. Your MC can persuade them to join what you think is the best course of action, but it can get very tricky. Because of this, tensions and opinions will clash, especially near the end. Therefore, the story is really outstanding, extremely well written, and masterfully delivered through realistic moments and mature situations. There is barely any nonsensical BS here. Nearly every minute you spend reading will be worth your time. As a strategy RPG, combat is based on grids, with a camera that can be moved around despite its default isometric settings. There's a skill tree system based on materials that you get after battle or that you can buy from a merchant, but the combat isn't complicated. It is very challenging though, as most maps are really well thought out and the enemy AI can be very smart. It's a fantastic challenge and by far one of the best JRPGs of 2022. Number 1. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The world lives manipulated and oppressed by supreme beings known as the consuls. Two big factions are at constant war, and children are raised to be soldiers to fight even on their teens. Our 6 protagonists come from each faction, and upon a chance encounter, they'll join forces to stop the consuls and liberate the colonies. While connected to its 2 grand predecessors, it's mostly standalone and safe to start with. After all, it's beautifully balanced with excellent pacing and highly addictive combat. It's deep and complex, but so easy to understand and get into, nothing convoluted here. In both storytelling and world building, this is an incredible experience, so the fact that its gameplay and combat are on the same superb level makes this 3rd Xenoblade game a masterpiece. Wish I could defend its resolution and frame rate, but it's the Switch, what do you expect? I'll be honest, this game ties with Triangle Strategy. I really have no preference, I love them both equally. Today, Xenoblade 3 wins the contest. Tomorrow, I might change my mind and crown Triangle Strategy. Either way, these are the 2 best JRPGs of 2022. That's it guys, there are other JRPGs I didn't include because I'm honestly not a fan, such as Elden Ring and the new Pokemon, but I still think they needed to be mentioned. However, this list was based on my own personal opinion and tastes as always. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!